Yes, that's my dinner. Pretty. If you know chess, you know that one wrong move won't kill you, but if you have multiple wrong moves, game over. And I feel that's kind of how life is. Too many wrong moves is just gonna create too much chaos in your life. So try to make as many good moves as possible. In case you're wondering, I got this chess set in Peru. It's made out of real stone. I love it. It's pretty beautiful. At least I think so. Welcome back to Spray to Pixels. How you guys doing? Hope you guys had an awesome week. And if you didn't, you have to figure out how you can make it better. What did you do, to that was a problem, or that problems arose, or what, like, how could you, change it so it is better. I think of life as a chessboard game. Okay, like I'll give you an example. Um, like you say, okay, I came into some money, I have $1,000. Um, what do I do with it? You know, and I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of myself. A lot of people just go, you know what? I'm gonna spend it. Buy myself, a nice belt. A nice $300 belt or $300 shoes. You know, um, things of that nature. I'm gonna go treat all my friends to dinner, and then within a week, that is gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you're back to square one, and that's what I mean. Like, you had the upper hand. $1,000. You could do a lot with that. I know it's not a lot of money, but you could do a lot with it. Like for me now, like I would invest it. I would invest it. I would research a good stock or something. And then I would purchase that stock, and I would probably put $500, and then the other 500 would go in the bank, to maybe kind of like figure out, is there a bill I want to pay? Is there something that I want to pay down? And then the stock will go up in price. And when it does, because you did your research, your due diligence, and figured out that this is upcoming stock, and again, that's not guaranteed, but it's at least 50-50, maybe even 60-40. So it depends on your research and who you're listening to and what you're reading. So you could turn that 500 into, 2,000 or $3,000. So now you're ahead, like, you know, a great margin, because before you had 500, now you have $2,000. So now you could do more with that money. So you can reinvest that money. Now you could purchase those shoes you wanted, but then you could put the rest of the money into another stock or another investment of some kind to grow your money, And that's what I mean. It's like you have to think ahead, and plan ahead. It's easier said than done, It's so hard to save, so hard to try to plan ahead, think ahead, 2, 3 steps. But it's something you have to like practice at, and just, it doesn't come naturally, I feel, for everybody. So I think if you just do it, little by little, just start the process. Maybe start by writing things down, and then kind of look at it later, a week later, and just kind of start thinking about it more, once a month, and every other week, and then every week, and every day, and just kind of work towards that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what do I need to do? Because again, life, to me, is like chess. You make one move, and it counter moves you. Then you try to do another move, and then it does another one. So then you have to think, okay, how can I avoid these obstacles? How can I avoid losing? How can I avoid, getting into a situation or a problem? What can I do? A quick example. When I was trying to get out of my home situation, I was like, I have no money, but I was saving money. You know what I mean? I didn't have enough money to rent an apartment, but I was saving money. And every week, every paycheck, I kept putting money aside. By the time I was ready to go, I had enough money to rent an apartment on my own, but I ended up getting a roommate because I wanted to save some more money because I wanted to be able to pay for my own classes because I didn't have my parents backing me. So I had to pay for my own classes when I first moved out. So that's thinking ahead. You know what I mean? Uh, Planning ahead, saving, working towards having something, having a goal, and then going after that goal. But it's really hard, you know, because like I said, I could just bought a car, and I could just forget it. I'm just gonna work, you know, and not worry about school, and I would just got stuck there in my situation. You know, I don't know what would happen, but I feel I wasn't happy, so I felt I had to make some moves and get out of there. I think that's the key. If you're not happy, that's a great motivator. You know what I mean? You feel stuck, you feel depressed, you're angry, you're whatever, frustrated. It's a great motivator to make you move. It's when you're comfortable, you know, life is, it's okay, it's fine. There's no fire under you. Then you kind of just sit there, you know, and like the years go by, and then you're like, whoa. And then things change. People move on. People, you know, don't they just disappear because they're doing their own thing. And then you're like, whoa, I'm still doing the same thing I was doing 10 years ago. And that's why I kind of like the idea of like kind of making, you know, moves and making choices, going after your goals, creating more goals after you achieve that goal, and maybe even having multiple projects you're working on, just to kind of keep that motivation going. You know what I mean? It might take longer, it will take longer, but I just feel like it's worth it at the end. And you really, like I said, life's gonna throw obstacles your way. It's not gonna make it easy. There's gonna be challenges, and you can't give up. You can't be like, oh, it's too hard. Life is too hard. I'm gonna live with my parents, or you know, it's like life is what you make it, and you have to go after what you want. And if you don't know how to do something, you have to learn how to do something. And again, like I told you before in my other videos, if you guys have watched it, you have to ask questions if you don't know the answers yourself, you know, or if you know, you're unsure, you're like, and then that helps you make a decision because now you realize that your thoughts were right. You're thinking of the right thing to do, and you had the right idea, but you weren't sure about yourself, and now you are because you got a second opinion. So just do things like that. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you know, life being a chessboard. It's like you just have to plan ahead, think ahead, counter move. Try to stay ahead of it. You know, don't let it take you out. You know, in a way. It's just, I know it's silly to compare it, but I just was thinking about it more and more, and really, yeah, it's what your moves that you make, your actions that you make, your decisions that you make that pretty much mold your life, you know. And for every mistake that you compound, that you know you keep making, it just keeps getting worse for you. You know, like an example, say you got a speeding ticket and you didn't pay the ticket because you didn't want to spend your money paying the ticket, and now the ticket went to collections, and now they sent you an extra fee to pay for that ticket, and you're like, well, I'm not paying that ticket because I want to go buy, you know, some, like, you know, Air Jordans or something. And now that, you know, that bill is like getting interest. A year goes by, now they have a warrant for, you know, for you. So now you have to pay $1,000, and now your name's on the database, and now you're like wanted by the law. So it just keeps getting worse. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting boxed into a corner, and then they catch up to you, and then you're driving your car that you spent all this money on, and now, you know, your license suspended because you didn't pay that ticket, and now there's a warrant, and now you get arrested, and now you have to pay even more money. Your car gets towed. You have to give your car to get, you know, out of the impound. So that's another $300. So now you have thousands of dollars because you're lazy, or you didn't think ahead, or you're being selfish. You know, you could have paid the $100 ticket. Now you got thousands of dollars you have to pay. And, you know, and say you have a decent job and you're in jail because of all these things. and then you lose your job. And then from there, you lose your apartment. And then from there, you're homeless when you get out. And then from there, nobody wants to deal with you. Your family's fed up with you and your bad choices. So that's what I mean. Think ahead, plan ahead, work towards something, have goals. Don't make it all about material things. Don't make it all about your ego. You know, it's like try solve the problems before the problems get worse. Stay one step ahead of it. And I feel like that's kind of life in general. You think like that, you know, like stay ahead of it. The other way is just it's like being just a consumer with no logic, you know, and you just end up getting yourself in situations. So just think more like that, you know, plan ahead. You're playing chess, you know, as one of my friends would say, you're playing chess, not checkers, which is basically an elevated game. But it's life. Life is an elevated game, you know, at the end of the so like I said, life is an elevated game. So you guys just have to, like, you know, plan, work towards it, write it down, make goals, how to achieve those goals. Now it's way easier than my time. You got like Chat GPT, you know, AI, you can ask all these kinds of questions. You know, my time I had to go to the library, you know what I mean? I had to go look up stuff, you know, ask instructors in classrooms. Now it's in your fingertips, you know? It's like you can ask, you can Google stuff, you know. It's way easier, you know. It's way easier to like figure out things, make some changes, get information. It's a good time to be alive, you know. And let's be honest, being alive alone is a blessing. You know what I mean? It's a gift. Sometimes it's hard, but I think that's what we have to go through. You know what I mean? To make us stronger, to learn something. You know what I mean? To take that with us, like to take all. You know, we're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to be better people, and we're here to, you know, elevate ourselves. I truly believe that, and I think the obstacles we come across is for a reason. Like, we're supposed to come across those obstacles. We're supposed to deal with those situations, and we're supposed to figure it out. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to make the best decisions you can make, and not blame others, and not, you know, because it's like you have to take account. We're not children. At the end of the day, you know, some people still act like children, but we're not. We have to like take accountability for our actions, you know. And let's be honest, not all of us want to take accountability, you know. Like I said, some of us are still like act like children. Not all of us want to admit we're wrong. Not all of us want to admit that we're doing something. Not all of us want to be honest of who we are, what we do, what we're doing, who we're doing it to, you know, or what we're doing to ourselves. So I think that's the first thing, is just be honest with yourself, and then you'll be honest with others. And then, you know, it's like, this is the true me. This is who I am. You know, yeah, we're human, we're complicated, we're many things, but we choose what we want to be more of, you know, if we want to be good people, if we want to be bad people, if we want to be involved in certain things. It's all choices, you know what I mean? Like I said, I come from humble beginnings. I come from, you know, working class immigrant family, growing up in a bad neighborhood, and I could have just made more and more bad decisions in that neighborhood, because a lot of people I knew did. You know, a lot of people ended up in prison for life. I could have been part of that, but I chose my art. I chose graffiti. I chose to leave that environment. I chose to reinvent myself. But it was all choices I had to make, all positive choices, you know? And each positive choice I made created my life now. I could have made all these bad choices or wrong decisions, did the easy money, you know, all kinds of stuff that way. hurt people, all kinds of stuff. And I wouldn't be here talking to you, you know? I'd be with some of my friends, you know? So it's like I created a different reality, and so can you. I create a different reality, and I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is you guys could do the same thing too if you feel stuck. And just think of life as a chessboard game, you know? Or you're trying to get to the other side. If you know how to play chess, you're trying to get to the other side, so you could get your queen. You could get a queen. You become a queen, and you're trying to protect your king. And so you have to make certain choices, certain decisions. How do I get there? Who do I have to go through? Who's trying to stop me? Who's my obstacles? What are my obstacles? And life is very organic, just like chess. You make a move, you think you're going to achieve something, and then life blocks you to send something towards you. It takes out one of your pawns. So you have to figure out, okay, how do I get my other one over there? So you have to keep trying. You know what I mean? And you're just like, your goal is to get to the other side, and that's life. Your goal is to to achieve your goals. Whatever you planned. You just can't go in life with no goals. Just like fumbling around. You kind of have to go have an idea, and then go across the chessboard. You know what I mean? After your idea, and obstacles are going to happen. And you have to deal with that. There'll be some setbacks. There might be some pivoting, reevaluating. Maybe you get your target, but it's not exactly 100% what you want, but it's good enough. Then just go with it. You know what I mean? And then maybe you can pivot from there and take it up that direction. Or maybe you have to pause a year or two. It's like just kind of analyze it all. I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of how I do it. Last but not least, I feel like sometimes some people will see what you're doing, and they may get jealous. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to achieve the same thing. They get envious, and they might try to sabotage you. Let's be honest. It's happened to me. I've been sabotaged before. Things are going well, and people get envious, and they'll throw a wrench in there, and then people are like, what's going on, or what's this drama, what's happening? And then you tell them the truth, like this happened, that happened. They're, oh, that's crazy, or oh wow, can't believe that you had a falling out or whatever. But that's just life. When people get jealous or envious, they create rumors, they throw wrenches at your machine. They try to sabotage you, they try to pull the rug from under your feet. You know what I mean? They just, there's a little bit of envy, and jealousy. So when you see that in people who aren't happy for you, or trying to bring you down, get rid of them. Don't hang out with them. Don't talk to them, because they'll just do it again. Do you know what I mean? It's who they are, and it's just gonna happen again and again. So even if you give them a chance, it's gonna happen again. So the best thing to do is just cut them out of your life and don't deal with them again. You know what I mean? Even if they apologize, it's like they're done, because you surround yourself with people you trust. You know what I mean? People that have love for you, not hate for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's what I mean. Surround yourself with positive people who love you, people who care about you, people who look out for you, people who have your best interest, people who respect you, who admire you, and and who are honest with you. You know what I mean? And that's what I like to have. That's why I still talk to, because all those things matter to me. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a brutal, honest truth than someone just, kissing my butt and not telling me the truth because they want something out of it. So I prefer the honesty, and I also prefer the loyalty and the respect. Um, but if there's like spewing hate and like drama, nah, I don't, and you shouldn't put up with it either. You know, if you feel that, you know, don't deal with it, because all they're gonna do is keep you down. You know, that whole old story about the crab in the bucket, where the crab's trying to get out and all the other crabs grab him and pull him back down. That's kind of how humans are, and you'll learn that as you go through life. You know, it's like it's so when you meet those people who's the crab on the other side pulling you up, you know, that's a keeper. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, you want that. You want people who are gonna elevate you and pull you up, and be, you know, real with you, not pull you down and be fake. Anyways, so I'm gonna go back to the life is a blessing. It really is, and I think I think that sometimes we get hung up on the negative, like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, I didn't achieve what I wanted, I don't have as much money as my neighbor, yada yada yada. I really believe that you have to be, you know, happy with what you have and be happy with what you achieved, because it's a blessing to be alive. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I didn't realize this for many years, you know, but I realize now, you know, I have things, you know, I have stuff, you know, but it brings me certain joy, and my accomplishments bring me a certain joy, and my career as well. But the reality is, you know, life in itself is worth more than any of those things. So life itself is a blessing. You know what I mean? And I never looked at it that way because I was young and dumb. And but now I see, you know what I mean? I see the beauty in life and the possibilities of life, and like our purpose in life. And I really enjoy just life, waking up and realizing that I am here on earth another day, and I get to learn something. I get to interact with the world around me. I get to experience things. I get to feel the breeze on my face. I get to hear the birds chirping. You know what I mean? It's like I get to live and enjoy life, and not, and even though life sometimes is hard, you know, with like career wise, you know, work could be stressful, or, you know, family situations could be stressful. Like, it's really, I feel like humans that make it stressful, because, like, you know, nature doesn't do anything. It's pretty, it's peaceful, you know, the beaches are nice, the mountains are nice. Of course, there's things that could go wrong, but I'm talking in general. There's a lot of beauty around us, and we forget to see it. We get caught up in like the human drama, you know, money, relationships, you know, work, bills, and we kind of lose sight of what really matters, you know, family, good friends, you know, nature, experiences, travel, you know, just doing things you want to do, create things that people haven't seen before, or, you know, that you want to share with the world. I think those become more important to me. Yeah, so again, trying to share some wisdom. You may not all agree with everything I'm saying, but it's just how I'm looking at the world, and how things that work for me, been working for me, and I'm trying to share that with you guys, and things to look out for. So yeah, so again, if you have a negative friend, get rid of them. You know, if they're always, you know, putting you down, get rid of them. If they're always, you know, trying to say you can't do this or that, keeping you down, get rid of them. You don't need that negativity around you. You need positive people. You need, you know, people who are like you, and people who believe in you and support you. So just think about those things. Write it down, make a list, um, pros and cons, because you want more of the pros. So on that note, oh, I got a message. Looks like I have a package. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, you know what? Give me a minute. What could this be? Ooh, nice. My tripod lamp came in. Ring light. Check it out. Digging it. I'm excited about this. What else did I get? Let's check it out. Ooh, got some hiking shoes. Hiking and walking. Look at this. These are sick. Digging it. Yeah, I can give my Crocs a rest now. Awesome. Excited. Pretty nice. Check them out. Nice traction. Nice material. Pretty heavy. Not heavy, but they're solid. Like definitely like go out in the woods or something. Pretty. Feels well made. Sturdy, solid. These are waterproof too, by the way. Sick. I'm excited. These Humto TX are sick. I hope that's how you say it. Look at that. Pretty excited to wear them tomorrow. Cool. Love it. Let them cut that off. Don't want to walk around with that. And last but not least, I got wireless microphones. Oh yeah. I'll put these babies on so my sound's better. I'm pretty excited about this stuff. It all came in. It's like Christmas came early. Yes, so when it gets hard, stay on the path. Don't give up. I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself. Again, it could take years, it could take months, whatever you're trying to achieve. Do baby steps, get to one goal, and then after that, you achieve that one, get to the next goal. So just take steps reaching your goal. So on that note, I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, supporting my channel, and just keep yourself safe out there and keep doing what makes you happy. Okay, fam. I'm gonna let you guys go. Have an awesome week. Keep creating, keep drawing, keep painting. Keep reading, keep writing stuff down in your notebooks. Keep making those lists. Start planning your future. Figure out what you want. Like I said, things do change. Like I said, I feel pretty good in my life. There's other things I want to achieve. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy. I feel like my life is balanced. But there's things I still want to accomplish. And so I'm doing the same thing. I'm making lists, and I'm working towards that possibility. So anyways, thanks again, guys, for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Anyways, take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. Peace.
Yeah.